Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Incompetent Nerds. I'm your host, Tank, and I have a special guest joining us this morning. Yeah, it's morning, I would say. None other than a good friend of mine, the Asian persuasion himself, V. Welcome, V.
Hello, everyone.
It's finally glad to have you on here.
Uh, Actually, I'm just some random nerd he picked up on the street, so don't even.
That's kind of rare because, random nerds on the street, or especially real nerds, are hard to find. Like a fucking Abra. As soon as you see them, they disappear.
Please. I don't disappear on you.
Sure about that?
Debatable.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, me and V have a decent relationship going very back. Both nerds in terms of gaming, and geek culture, tech, anime, things like that. He's my anime expert.
Whoa, calm down, man. You don't need to reveal him. It'll talk you off the top of the head.
Well, to begin with, this episode is straight Pokemon only. So on our little itinerary, we have Detective Pikachu, the movie. We're gonna go next to the Let's Go Pokemon, Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee series, and then we're gonna end with our predictions of Pokemon 8, which was predicted to be released sometime next year, even though there's no words on it. So let's get this party started with Detective Pikachu. Most folks, you probably heard me talk about this movie, I think twice in the previous two, but it was very small. But now I have, my good friend V here. We're going to talk about it a bit more and how we feel about it. So, V, let me get your opinions on this movie when you saw the trailer. What did you think about it?
See, when I first saw this trailer, I didn't have... Actually, before I even saw this trailer, I had, no hopes that Detective Pikachu was going to be anything good.
Yeah.
Me and my friends wrote it off as some satire movie, and it was just like a joke of a thing.
Yeah.
But then they actually came out with a trailer, and we were like, oh no, everything's going to go south. I watched the trailers, and I actually found it not to be the worst, that there's still potential in it.
Yeah.
But me, myself, I don't actually see it being that well received still.
Okay. For me, when I first heard about making a Pokemon movie, which was, I want to say, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, possibly. From my understanding, I was like, they're making a Pokemon movie, and it's gonna be Detective Pikachu. I'm like, this is probably gonna bomb. I'm like, it's a live action. It's gonna be their first live action. And in my head, I'm like, this is probably gonna bomb. Then when I saw the trailer, I was like, holy shit, this actually looks legit. And I think I was the one that broke the news to you about the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching, I was kind of excited for it. And I feel like it's probably gonna sell well. I don't know about the reception. I don't know about the reviews, if it's gonna be crappy or not. But if it sells, even if it's crappy, and we've seen that with Transformers, shitty movies, but they sell well, that they keep making sequels. I could possibly see, I think, who is it? Universal, who has their hands on this movie, continue making on more.
I think it's doable, but definitely not in the same fashion that they've constructed this new, imaginary city from. This premise was based upon the whole
The Detective
creating
Pikachu
a
game.
city. Yeah, kind of like a city that has Pokemon working together with them.
Humans
And
and
it's
people.
like humans and Pokemon, yes.
Yeah.
And it's
Living
just
together in matrimony.
maybe you can focus in on another city possibly, or
Yeah.
an actual adventure, because this one just seems very focused on different cities and tracing down his dad in that
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, I see that. But I feel like with Ryan Reynolds voicing Pikachu,
Yes.
I was literally on the boat of crap. I can't believe Danny DeVito. I was in
Mm-hmm.
that boat because to have his voice coming out of Pikachu's mouth would have been so much funnier. But they did release a statement. Danny DeVito did release a statement about the whole like why wasn't he to voice Pikachu? And from what we heard, from what I was reading, he did he was approached, but he didn't understand the script. He didn't know what the hell Pokemon was. He didn't to him he's like, I don't even know what a Pikachu is. So he didn't want to do it. So it's like, all
Mm.
right, cool. He didn't want to do it. We can't force the man. So that's why we got Ryan Reynolds. Now when I hear Ryan Reynolds' voice, I feel like it's kind of like Deadpoolish, how funny he's gonna be getting.
Yeah.
But I could definitely see in Deadpool 3, um, he's definitely gonna announce that I was a Pokemon. He's like, I played Pikachu for God's sake. So
I can totally see that.
I see that too. Come on, he went back acknowledging that he was Hal Jordan and a shitty version of Deadpool beforehand, and yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I can definitely see that. Oh gosh.
But
Next Deadpool.
yeah, definitely the next Deadpool. But I'm pretty excited. Did you read the articles about some people being freaked out on the hair slash fur on some of the Pokemon?
Oh yeah, I read about that.
Like people literally zoomed in on Mr. Mind's forehead on his head and they saw like little tiny little specks of hair. It's like this is scary. This is freaky. Like whatever. Like what the hell? First of all, Mr. Mind is a creepy character even in the anime.
Agreed, agreed.
Like he's overall creepy. So well, they're overall creepy. So it's like they tried their best. I do like how Pikachu looks. I do like how Jigglypuff when they showed off Jigglypuff. Come on, that was pretty cool.
I agree. Like Jigglypuff and Pikachu, even Bulbasaur and the others
Oh yeah, the bubble. Yeah,
were
oh my
well
god.
made.
Yes.
Those were good, but like I think like abundant amount of fur from Pikachu and Jigglypuff was just appalling to everybody. Everybody's just seeing like super just generic sprites,
Yeah.
and when they now have to see like a live action of
Trying to make him look a
Jigglypuff
bit.
and
Trying to make him
Pikachu.
look a little bit more realistic, but still keeping that art style. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, I agree. It's similar to like how scientists just consider dinosaurs to have like
feathers.
feathers and now, and it's just like so different to how we used to see them
Like
in Jurassic
reptilians.
Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we always saw them as reptilians because that was the only idea until it went back. Like, no, they were more avian. It's like, holy
Hmm.
shit. So if we would have went back in time and saw a T Rex hunting down just whatever animal, you want to see a reptilian like monster. You would literally see a feathered monster just coming down, just freaking tackling them. That that would kind of be interesting. It's like, yeah, I did see those like an actual T Rex that was all feathered out, like a big
Yeah,
ass bird.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think this is just what the current state of things are. Everybody's just freaking out over something that they're not expecting. And
Yeah,
so,
yeah, I see that. Um, what else? I feel like if this movie does become a success, and we did speak about this, before the cast, I feel like they're gonna go ahead and do an actual mainline Pokemon movie based off, Ash slash Red.
I can totally see that. That'd be something to be that I could get behind. Like they could even split it up into like multiple movies, to be honest, if
Yeah,
considering the journey so long.
yeah, they're doing a trilogy of Ash or Red. I feel like if they do Ash, I've like we had this discussion. I've with Red storyline being a much more mature storyline, they'll probably use that, but then they will use Ash as the main character just because the name is more universally known
Yeah, I can see that.
compared to the
For sure.
hardcore fans of Pokemon who read the manga or even some of the like animated movies based off the manga, not on the TV show of you know, they know who Red is. They know who
Yeah.
Red, Green, Blue, and all these other characters. They just don't. They'll just give them like, okay, Ash, Gary, and whoever.
For sure, dude. I can totally see that.
Yeah, because those names are more universal. So I see that Yeah, they'll probably have the Ash. I mean, the Ash character, but then they'll have the Red storyline just because it's you can make it both a child. You can make the storyline appealing to children, but also appealing to the adults. So you get some of that, that graphic, somewhat graphic imagery, that PG-13 imagery of somebody getting beat up, but then there's no blood.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I could see Pikachu, like for example, the first fight with Pikachu and Onyx, have that fight, and we'll see, Onyx put the beat down on Pikachu just because he's a giant fucking bean, and you just see Pikachu like, his fur is all ruffled, a couple bruises, maybe his eye a little twitch, and that's it. But you won't see like full on blood and guts and stuff. Unlike in the red
Indeed.
universe, unlike the red version, where it's like, did did Scyther just straight up slice the sucker in half?
Uh,
Like the first time I see Pokemon die in actual battle was in the in the red mangas, and seeing just like Scyther just slice a what was it Arbok in half. It's
yeah,
like
it's
whoa.
crazy. Exactly. Like the benefit of also following the red storyline is that like the red storyline has a lot of like manga adaptations for each generation.
Yeah,
So there's like red, blue, and green as one. There's yellow, there's gold, silver, and crystal all separate, and then ruby and sapphire, fire red, leaf green, etc., etc. So each one of these has like his adventure in those specific areas.
yeah,
And so it's going to be like much more expanse for Pokemon to actually expand on in this frontier
yeah.
compared to just Ash's meaningless walking around the world, encountering Team Rocket at every single episode, and proceeding to never beat the Elite Four or do anything significant.
You see, if they do a trilogy, like let's say they do the console trilogy, you call it,
Hmm.
I could see it based off this. You have the first movies based off the first few gyms that he goes and tackles, and then after like completing maybe let's say the fourth gym, he has his introduction to Team Rocket.
Hmm.
Then we go on to the second movie where he completes the other four gens, but also has Team Rocket being a thorn in his side, constantly trying to kidnap Pikachu just because how powerful he is, and things of that nature. And then the last movie, it could be based on him finally reaching the Elite Four and becoming a Pokemon Master or just a champion. But I could see definitely part two being like the huge part of the movie. Like this is the meat and potatoes of the movie. Of he's not just trying to complete all four gyms, which I feel like probably be a little bit more on the left side, and where all the main action could be more on focusing on trying to take down Team Rocket
Hmm.
and seeing him fight against like the last thing could be him fighting against Giovanni and seeing how this goes down.
Fair.
And then after that, after everything's the dust is settled, everything's done, it's like final movie. We're gonna end it with a bang. He goes on and fights true most Pokemon Masters in the Elite
Hmm.
Four, and how either he could overcome them or he loses, and he just has a learning experience. And we're like, okay, I may not be the best, but there's still more out there I gotta achieve. And then boom, you just finished the cancel series. Next could be the other ones. I forgot the other landmarks. I mean the other continents or whatever, but
No, the regions.
the other regions. There you go. Thank you.
Kanto, Hoenn, what else was there? Oh God.
Because the legendary birds appeared in red, blue, green, and yellow, uh, along with Mew and Mewtwo, and where we could.
Oh.
I feel like they'll probably put like a sneaky move on us. Is like, let's say we do have Ash, Ash and his team like freaking invade uh, the Team Rocket's hideouts, kicking ass, beating people left and right, and then we have Mewtwo in a capsule somewhere you don't know of, but he just ran past it, and it's like the font you could definitely see like very like grainy, like Mewtwo to sneak it in. Like, yo, expect him come out real soon. to like grab people to go in for the third movie,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing him like achieve that, seeing the legendary birds get Mewtwo and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like I can totally see that too. Alongside the fact that you know how the old games threw in the ability to travel to the second region, Johto?
Yeah,
Yeah, so like you could just interconnect those. Those two are just literally side by side, so you can
definitely,
enjoy both two stories.
and definitely you could like have Ash in the next series. Like we'll get the next trilogy going, and you have Ash like a bit older, more matured, and he's out there kicking ass more. Like it could probably start off with him in the Johto region, already completing 4 gems. Is
Hmm.
And it's like you don't have to see all this because now we want to see the adventure, not of him just constantly going to gym like in the video game. We want to see how his adventure fold and how, like, wow, how long you been in Johto? Oh, I've been in Johto for about 2 months now, and you already completed 4 gems. Yeah, it's like whoa, that's kind of amazing. Him, having Ash do all this tackling stuff, meeting new people, facing off against new threats, and they could probably end that series with a world-ending event with Lugia and Ho-Ho, Oho, or Ho-Oh. I can't say that
Hmm.
man's name for shit.
But yeah, I can definitely see that. The time skip thing is definitely
It's gonna be a must. I feel like
good
it's gonna be a
idea.
must. I really feel like they don't need to put him going to gym. I feel like we saw that in the first series. We had him face off against Misty, Brock, and so forth. He's going to gym. And I feel like they shouldn't add Misty and Brock as his companions.
Hmm.
They should be, like in the game, gym leaders. Like, if you want to add companions, add some companions that he could literally, new characters. Don't add Misty or Brock. Like, let them be gym leaders as they are.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. This is just it's just very it was very kid friendly for basically back in
Yeah.
the day, so that's why.
Because remember, we are talking about, like, certain actors for, like, Misty or Brock. Like, I feel like for Brock, like, it would be kind of cool to have The Rock in there as, portraying Brock as,
Hmm.
what you call it? Him or maybe Lieutenant Surge.
Lieutenant Surge, interesting. That's quite the character.
Like, dude, can you imagine him being The Rock? All right, Raichu, let's go. Bro, that would be amazing. Like, if you throw The Rock in there, like in my head, I'm thinking Rock, Brock, come on, that kind of works. But people are gonna be expecting that. But if you throw him as Lieutenant Sarge, it's like, holy crap.
Hmm. That'd be quite the interesting thing.
That would be.
Wow.
All right, we kind of took a major left turn on this Detective Pikachu. But overall, I'm excited for the movie. I'm hoping it does well so we can get a mainline series, which would be amazing. And I feel like this will be Universal's Harry Potter, if done correctly.
Um, I can kind of see that. I just worry about Universal's. Like, even if Universal picks it up and it's gonna be not that well done, but well, I'll definitely give it a shot. Like, if my friends are going out to go watch it, I'm just gonna go watch it with them.
And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It's each their own. But like
That's
I
true.
said, it's like I said, dude. Even if it bombs in terms of reviews, but it fucking sells in terms of money, they're gonna want to make another one because they know the Pokemon name will sell movies. Same like Transformers. Each Transformer has been getting worse and worse and worse in each release, and but yet they were still making money. They were still hitting like that, $500 million mark in terms of ticket sales and stuff like that. So of course we could definitely see Pokemon do the same thing.
Yeah, for sure. God, unbelievable though. Like, I think attaching anything to the Pokemon game is just an instant seller right now. Like, look how attached even the public was when Pokemon actually like
Pokemon
Pokemon
Go.
Go came out. Like, that was just an indie company who managed to
Niantic.
do that much.
No, it's not even an indie company. They're owned by Google.
Really?
Yeah, Niantic is owned by
Oh,
Google. I think it was Niantic that came out with the game. What was it called? Aggress or Gress? I forgot what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they saw how people were like enjoying it because it was similar to Pokemon. It was very. It was. You
Pokemon
could say it
Snap?
was a precursor of Pokemon Go.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Same thing. You go to a certain. You had to go to a node and capture said node and keep going and build up your strength or whatever. And because of the attention it had, Google bought them.
Mm-hmm.
Then when Google approached, that's why if you look when you open a Pokemon Go on your phone, you can either use a Pokemon account or a Google account.
True.
And Google did a smart thing of not making it exclusive only to Android. They opened it to all markets. They just want to make it for both sides
Mm.
of the mobile OSs, and that's why we had it on both versions. Um, what you call it? And they worked along with the Pokemon Company and Game Freak to get those assets to use in the game. The only thing was they were not ready for this
Uh,
massive worldwide overtaking of Pokemon
Phenomenal.
Go. They
For
were not
sure.
ready for that shit. And I feel that's why it tanked so fast. Like as quickly as it became, it tanked as quickly as it was. Now we still got people still playing it. They're still addicted, and it's still making a lot of money. It's still making millions of dollars. I want to say each month. So props to
Mm-hmm.
them making a good game. You know, making it even better. But for some hardcore fans, I feel like they're like, it was alright while it lasted. But I feel like people went back just because of Let's Go series
Mm-hmm.
that you're able to transfer Pokemon back and forth. I want to say that's why some folks went back. I wasn't even gonna go back until I saw what the Let's Go series was, and I was like, nah, I'm good.
Agreed. I think so too. That definitely was a watching the actual gameplay of it was quite appalling
Yeah,
to me at least.
and this is a perfect like segment way of going to the Let's Go series. How it just I like how this transferred. It just went from Pokemon Go to Let's Go.
Yeah.
So you just said that you just saw the gameplay of Pokemon Let's Go. That you were recently. You're still like keep watching it right here and there.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Like I think it's enjoyable to watch, but to actually play the game with well Pokemon knowledge base is not that appealing.
Yeah,
How can I say it? Like I initially watched Pokemon Go on like the day of the release. And so it was late into the night and I started watching it and it's like, okay, so the generic Pokemon Go throwing the Pokeball to catch the Pokemon tactic. And so initially, obviously the streamer that I watched chose Pokemon Let's Go Eevee.
yeah.
And so when he got his Eevee and started like leveling it up, Eevee just gained an abnormal amount of like super strong attacks off the top,
Yeah, the OP attacks. I heard about those.
like super early on. And I was like, okay, it's literally you have electric, water, and a what is the last one? Fire attack,
Yeah.
all on Eevee. So Eevee can just substitute in as literally any type in there, making it broken.
You got a broken Pokemon.
Yeah, and
And
then
that
just
Eevee's a normal, so it's not gonna be affected by a lot of other Pokemon. So
hmm
yeah, I definitely see that.
yeah, so like just watching that initial gameplay just convinced me not to pick it up because it was far too simple, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
for a typical Pokemon. It does a good job of introducing the series to like people who are growing up now
Yeah.
because I think this is just like the easiest way that people can understand Pokemon.
No, I agree. It's very casual, super casual.
Yeah. Like what have you seen from Pokemon Let's Go?
I had some friends on Facebook that have been streaming it,
Hmm.
And watching it, the gym battles, I'm like, okay, some of the battle mechanics are still the same. I do like the animations. I'm not crazy for the gameplay just because it's not your traditional, and I really dislike the capturing mechanic for the wild, like motion controls to throw a Pokeball. That to me is just a gimmick. I really don't like that feature, and a lot of folks, from what I'm hearing, really enjoy the game on handheld just because they don't need to use the damn motion mechanics.
Hmm.
They just use the left analog stick to aim where they want to throw the Pokeball, and then I think press A, and that's it. Or you can actually just shake your switch to activate the throw.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but once you go
Okay.
once you go into TV mode, that's gone.
Yep, that's true.
So I feel like this is them just testing the waters to see how this goes. There has been bad reviews on the motion, just like to throw, especially if you got Pokemon moving left and right. You gotta like judge it correctly to make sure you throw it in the correct way.
Hmm.
But I really dislike that just that capturing. I really dislike it. It's
Mm.
it doesn't make you feel like you're capturing a Pokemon. It just makes you fear that you're gonna throw your fucking Joy-Con at your TV or
Hey
even a
man,
Pokeball at your TV.
they warned you to strap on that wrist strap.
They want people to use
Uh,
strap-ons anyways, and motherfuckers still come out pregnant. Strap up. I said strap-ons. Oh, that's not how you get pregnant.
Ooh, whoa there, buddy.
Oh, this turned real dark. Ooh, this went a whole other direction.
All right, Tank. Now we know what you're.
No, you better stop.
I don't know, dude. All right.
But even though with it did get some good reviews, and I looked up on Metacritic, it is currently at an 81% out of 100, and an IGN
Mm,
is 8.3 out of 10. Um, and a lot of people are praising it because of the graphics, the animations, the Pokemon, how quickly you could get through it because, like you said, the leveling up system, anything you do, your Pokemon level up
yes, that's
without the
exactly.
need of experience share. So it's like I capture a Pokemon, everybody levels up. I fight in a battle, everybody, gains experience and levels up. So people have been praising that. The only thing I've been seeing is, excuse me, is that damn the capturing, just that motion controls.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that is the downside of it. And I feel like Game Freak probably did that just to see, like, let's see if we could add this in our next game. And I'm really hoping they don't.
See, that's the thing though. Like, do you do you know how to actually throw the ball is my real question. Because from what I've heard is that everybody is convinced that the instructions that it shows on the screen of throwing the ball is an underhanded toss. And it actually does look like an underhanded toss.
Yeah,
But in all honestly, there's been rumors that an overhead throw
yeah,
or overhand throwing the ball is actually better. And I've seen like a sufficient amount of data points that points to being an overhead throw being easier to judge in
yeah.
time. So it's
I
about
even seen
all
people just
about like
flicking the damn thing.
yeah, like I feel like it's all about whether or not you actually comprehend how it's actually thrown in
Yeah,
some cases, but I can definitely see how people are turned off by the fact that you have to do a throw like this.
yeah. They even discuss this about people with certain disabilities who want to play this game, but yet don't have like the motor skills to flick or throw, and that a option should have been added if you wanted motions in on or off. And
Hmm.
I totally agree with them. Like playing with one hand is perfect because I have a good friend of mine who lost his hand, and if he was able to play this, like this would be a perfect game for him to play with his other hand. Other hand's usable. He could go ahead and use the motion controls and everything. But what about those who can't lift up their hands? They can move just their fingers or whatever, and they grew up playing Pokemon before this problem happened to them. It's like, why not we just turn off the motion? Like, come on, be more well minded out there.
Hmm.
And I feel like motion controls are just a gimmick. Nintendo still is trying to keep it alive. Same thing with Sony, with the whole motion controls built into the controller. And this is why I'm on Xbox side of things, because they're not using motion controls. They don't care for it. And the fact that they also have what you call it, their version of an accessibility kit to play video games for people who who want to play video games but they can't use a traditional controller.
Right, right.
So
Yeah.
I feel like Nintendo should have that turned off, especially being able to use one hand for everything. That's just perfect for folks who like to play video games. Like, for example, my friend of mine, it's perfect for him to enjoy a Pokemon game without the use of two hands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, accessibility is definitely one thing they didn't put into consideration for
No.
this bit. But I feel like a lot of Switch games haven't been putting that into consideration. And for that, it's just Switch just completely not considering it,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
But with that option of using one controller, that is a pretty sweet deal, because it turns the game into a more laid back experience. You're not leaning forward with both hands on the controller. You're just laying down or just chill in a really very chill position on your couch, bed, whatever chair, and you just play with one hand. And I always liked I like playing with the Joy Cons. Playing not most games, but some games with it,
Hmm.
just because I could be in that very, very comfortable position while having both of my hands real close to each other.
Mm.
And I used to do that when I used to play. I never had the Wii, but when I used to play Wii games with my friends, and I had that option of playing with the nunchuck, I rather play that
Hmm.
way just because it was more comfortable for me. Because then I
I
had to have
agree.
my hands close together. I hated the motion control, so I just sit there, play Mario Kart or Smash Bros, whatever, just playing like that, just because it was just more comfortable for me, and my performance in terms of those games was really up there, just because I was more comfortable. I didn't put so much strain in my hands and stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Um, but otherwise, I don't even know. Like nowadays, just after the initial like adventure hype, all that's left of the game is literally what you can only find on Twitch nowadays. It's just people sitting around catching shinies.
Yeah, because not just that, you also need to like capture certain Pokemon, and it needs to be at a certain level to do what they call the masteries or Pokemon Masters, something like that.
Wait,
Because
what?
once you beat the game, they still, you can still continue playing and not to capture shinies or to.
Yes.
Can you even breed in this game?
No, not from my knowledge. You don't breed Pokemon in this
Oh,
game.
that probably pissed off the breeders and their god tier Pokemon.
I mean they did it in a different way. They managed to do it in the fact that you could just catch an abundant amount of Pokemons, and that would just initially just have better stats.
Yeah. So if I capture like about 1,000 monkeys, it's just like they're all gonna come out to be the same.
Incorrect. Like
I mean,
once you
capture like 1,000 of them, the stats just keeps getting better and better.
up to a certain point. So like once you hit the 31 streak, like so you have to catch 31, I guess, monkeys in this case.
Mankeys.
Mankeys. Um 31 Mankeys, you gain the highest benefit from this, and
Yeah.
any Pokemon going forward has better stats, or has a higher chance of having better stats and rarity, so to speak, around
Okay.
your area.
I can see people just
So yeah,
turning over to just to capture shinies.
yeah, exactly. So this is why everybody's just turning it over. It's just like you just need to have a 31 streak, and you
Yeah.
just sit in the area you're waiting for.
Okay. I never even bothered to capture shinies. I think I captured one once, and that was it. I don't remember. I think it was on my Omega Ruby.
Mm,
I forgot who. Don't
it,
remember. But yeah,
mm,
that was just once. Just I know for what was it? Sun and Moon. Just because you could the Pokemon could call out help, people were
mhm.
just spamming that. Like, I'm definitely gonna capture this fucking shiny. I don't care how long it takes. Keep calling out. Next, no,
Yes.
you just have a massacre of freaking Pikachus or whatever. They actually did a meme of that.
What?
They did a meme of a Pokemon. What was it? What's the owl one? I forgot the owl. It was this.
Noctowl?
Huh?
Noctowl?
No, not knocked out. The
Hoot Hoot?
no, the owl from Sun and Moon.
From Sun and Moon?
Yeah, the
Oh,
starter.
that one.
It was his second form, and he's yelling at a Pokemon. He says, "Do it!" And the Pokemon's like tied up to the trees. No, and he says, "Do it again!" So the Pokemon screams for like help, and a
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon comes out. He just shoots it with his feathered arrows, and he's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Again!" I'm like, and it's basically saying how it feels when you're trying to capture shinies. And bro, in the artwork, you can see the camera moves back, and the
Mm-hmm.
panel, you just see a sea of dead Pokemon. It's like, holy shit.
Yes. Yeah, Rowlet. Rowlet's the thing
Hmm.
that you're looking for. That little owl thing.
Yeah. I love that owl. That was my beginner. When I first started Sun and Moon, I'm like, I want him.
You're kidding me. Litten was so much better.
I'm like, nope, I want him.
Oh
And that's who I
gosh.
got first. That was my first one. And then I traded. I had like, I don't know how, but I just traded a shit ton of other Pokemon. I think it was Dittos or something like that. I traded some Dittos for the other two.
Hmm. Oh, I see. Makes sense.
Yeah. So I wanted all three starters, and I got once I got all three starters, I'm like, I got all three in my crew. They're all gonna level up, and I had them all. I think they're like level 30 or 40 each,
Hmm.
and then I stopped.
Fair.
Yeah, I hadn't even completed the game, and it's just like, crap. The first
Wait,
time
you
I
didn't even complete? Yikes.
the first Pokemon game I completed was Ruby back in the GBA.
Hey, nice. Throwback.
Uh-huh. I remember playing this shit. Here was the thing. I had a friend when growing up. He had a Game Boy Advance, the SP, and he was
Hmm.
playing Ruby, and I was all over. I'm like, oh my god, I want this. And then one Christmas, my grandmother gets me the Game Boy Advance, the SP,
Hmm.
along with what was the game? It was Pokemon. No, it wasn't Pokemon because they were sold out that Christmas. I was pissed. So the game I got was Final Fantasy Tactics.
Oh, Tactus was so good.
So I was stuck on that. After some time, I got Fire Emblem from the GBA. I got uh, Dragon Ball Z. Like I started getting like my collection from my GBA started to go up, and then finally I was so happy. I finally got Ruby, and I'll never forget one day I was leaving my grandmother's house, and I had my GBA, but instead of Ruby, I just had a Fire Emblem in there.
Hmm.
And I was walking home and I see my friends in the backyard. So I go back there, I'm playing with them. They're all getting wet. And I have my GBA and I didn't want to get it wet. So I took off my shoes and I hid my GBA in my shoes. And we're playing around. And next thing you know, I go back and it's gone.
Oh my God.
I knew the person who stole it, but of course he wasn't saying it was him. I was getting so aggravated that my friend was even helping me trying to get like he was in his house. We're banging on his door like, "Give me my fucking Game Boy." He's not. He ain't open. He ain't giving. So I get emotional. I start banging on his door. My friends kind of calm me down. My mother then comes. My stepfather. We start. The cops even come, and it all started with a GBA. It all started with this shit. Like, dude, it got because it really got very, very. I was starting to get very, very violent. I was so
Hmm.
pissed. They're like, you gotta take this loss. Like, this is a lesson learned. Dude, I was super pissed. Then I still have my Game Boy games. No
Hmm.
Game Boy to play. I was super pissed. And then my brother, his father, man, what did it was? He used to work as a trucking company,
Hmm.
and one of his truckers who left the company left the Game Boy,
Oh.
left the Game Boy in the truck, never came back for it or whatever. So he just took it and he gave it to my brother. And my brother really never played. He never cared for the Game Boys. So, because my brother was into just sports games, and since
Mm-hmm.
sports games and the Game Boy was kind of shitty, he didn't care for that. So he's like, "Here, you can play it." My brother just let me play the Game Boy. My young brother was just into just sports games. That was it. So now I had a Game Boy back, and it was the red one. My
Mm-hmm.
first one was actually it was a lime green
Lime green.
because that's
Wow.
all they
Dang,
had.
dude. So fancy.
I was so pissed because I wanted red. Red was always my color, and I was so mad they only had was lime green. So, and I'll never forget, I went with my grandmother on Black Friday to get that.
Dang, dude.
Yep. Then years later, I got the DS, and it was my grandmother who bought it for me for my birthday. And yeah, the rest is history. Like, started playing games on the DS and things like that. Never played a Pokemon game on the DS until I got the new 3DS.
Mm.
But you know what's funny?
What?
I never forget, as an adult, like, I think it was like last year, I catch that motherfucker on the train with me. Now he's chit chatting like, "Hey, how's it going?" Blah blah blah. I was like, "It's going well." Like, I still hate this guy till this day,
Oh,
and a
wow.
part of me wanted to tell him like, "Yo, we're adults now. Did you steal my fucking Game Boy?" And I already know. I didn't even tell him that, but I already know he's gonna be like, "No, it wasn't me." Fucking liar.
Dude, I had a similar experience, although it was completely my fault. I just lost it, to be honest. But I worked super hard on my Emerald back in the day.
Yeah.
And I had legitimately been going around different frontiers and actually winning against some of them.
Yeah.
Um, and I was doing a good job of doing so, but then I went over to my friend's house and somehow I magically lost my game cartridge. And like till this day, I still think it's like somewhere hidden in his basement. And I'm like, well, this is absolute garbage. Like I spent so many hours into that.
One day they're gonna
Oh,
move
yeah.
out and be like, your friends will be like, yo, AV, guess what I found after years? You're gonna
God.
be before he even hangs up, before you even say a word, you're gonna be in his front door like, open the fucking door.
Uh, it's okay. I learned that to take that loss completely. But yeah, it's funny that you would have Ruby so engraved into you. Ruby's also pretty big on me because Ruby was the first game that I actually managed to catch a shiny in.
Yeah,
I was just
it's kind of
Beavis.
funny. Like, I completed Ruby when I was young.
Hmm.
Never caught a shiny. I played Omega Ruby, caught a fucking shiny. It's like red is always my color, and even when I played the very first Pokemon game, it was my stepfather when me and my brother were kids.
Hmm.
He bought me and my brother Game Boys, and in both Game Boys was the Pokemon game. Oh, we were excited, like, oh, we got Pokemon. What's Pokemon? And then following that summer, that's when we got the Pokemon anime, well, the cartoon for Americans,
Mhm.
and
Right.
then the fucking Pokemon cards. And dude, you know how hard it is that this man, he bought packs, hundreds and hundreds of dollars of Pokemon cards, put them in a book, and told us, you can't play with these. These are for you, but you can't play with these because later in life they might be worth something.
Dang, do you
Now,
still have those?
I don't have those.
What the heck, dude?
Shit happened. We were kids, so when dude, we had this whole book, and I'll never forget telling my mom, like, you know how hard it was for that man to buy us these fucking cards and told us we can't play them? It was horrible. Like, it was, dude, even the ones that were not, like, the non-foil ones, he put them in the book, and he's like, you can't play with these. These are for you, but you can't play with these. These are gonna be worth something in the future. Bro, I was angry. And then here's the kicker. This is what happened now. When him and my mother separated,
Hmm.
it was like a motherfucking free for all. We grabbed that book and we started playing the Pokemon card game. Bro, it was a free for all. We're like, he can't get mad at us now. he should have took the book. So we'll play. Years later, he tells, "Hey, you still got those cards of Pokemon?" Yeah. Oh, I mean the book of the Pokemon cards. We're like, yeah. Even though most of them kind of like went to the trash
Yeah.
because they were like, after a while of us playing, not taking care of our shit,
Mm-hmm.
they all went away. I want to say I do have some left somewhere in the house here, but I don't know where.
Mm.
And they're definitely not fucking foils.
I mean, I highly doubt they're like it's hard to find foils nowadays, but like I also have my own collection that I never actually used to play.
Yeah.
And I just always collect that and have it there so that I can always come back to observe this collection that I have that's not even complete. I didn't actually actively try to collect it,
Yeah.
but I managed to like pick up some decent ones. I initially had a foil Charmeleon, I believe, and that's still somewhere.
You know what threw me back and what made me just like let go, like how you and Emerald was? I
Hmm.
had one of the best Yu-Gi-Oh decks in my opinion. Cause in my neighborhood, I was a fucking killer with that shit, and I was over at my father's house, and I remember we were in this truck, and I had the little box with my Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I put them in this truck. I left them there. Totally forgot about it. I went home and everything and forgot about it. Told my father. He's like, they're not in the car. I don't know what they're at. They're not in the house. I looked all over. I'm sorry. I went nuts. I went to his house, going through everything. Can't find them. I'm going nuts, dude.
Dang.
That made me just give up on. That made me literally give up on Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yu-Gi-Oh cards, yeah.
That because dude, my deck was to me like I would beat everybody. The way we used to play, because we played three different rules. We played the Pegasus, which we call the Pegasus rules, where you could summon any monster, and you cannot attack a person's life points. You can only attack the monster, and that's the only way you could lose it. So
Okay.
similar to the TV show. Then we played the Kaiba ones, and where you have 4,000 life points, and you could attack somebody's life points just to make the game move a little faster.
Hmm.
And then we played the traditional 8,000 life points. And with the summoning of monsters, you got to sacrifice. So
Oh
we played
God, that
three
was
different
so
styles. Yeah, we played those three different styles. And bro, I even did a handicap. It was 3 versus me. Fucking slaughtered all 3 of them. Like, I was so hardcore. And when I lost my main deck, not even my backup deck was the shit. My backup deck was just a shitty deck, and that was because my backup deck was just was used as to swap cards, like
You're right.
assessing like who's I'm playing against who. All right, let me swap these cards out and put these other cards in. Like I had a total of 40 cards. 20 of them were monsters. 10 were magic. It's like 10 to 12 were magic, and the rest
Hmm.
were traps.
You're right.
And oh my god, I had like my 3 blue eyes dragon. I had my fusion. I even had my blue eyes dragon. The 3-headed dragon. My black eyes dragon. Like I was at that time focusing on building a dragon card, a dragon
I,
deck.
I can see
So
that.
I had mostly dragons, be it from low tier to god tier. Like I had them. I started building these dragons. That dragon collar, that dragon flu magic. Like I had them all, and I was
Hmm.
just demolishing folks left and right. I'm like, this is fucking beast.
Dang, dude, that's
Then I lost it.
impressive.
I lost my mind.
Ooh, that's terrible, dude. I back in the day, I tried to build a deck, but I was like pretty garbage at it. And the only one that I really tried to go for was a card destruction deck.
Yeah,
But in the end, I couldn't get the cards that I needed, so I just gave up on it.
yeah. All right, we are at 45 minutes. Oh damn, we're 50 minutes in.
Dang, dude.
All right, last but not least, we'll get this going before we, end the episode. Is predictions of Pokemon 8th Gen. So we did discuss that supposedly it was announced that it will be released next year. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
keeps saying like if you're not gonna play Pokemon Let's Go, you can wait next year for the Gen 8 series, the main line. I'm hoping for this main line. They do not have the goddamn throwing mechanic. If this is gonna be another mainline Pokemon, it better be a traditional mainline. Of course, you're on the Switch. It's a much more powerful system. You can add different mechanics. Cool. Don't add the stupid motion throwing mechanic.
I don't know. This is truly like I feel like the Pokemon Company is just trying to test out this new throwing mechanic so that they can implement it in 8th gen. But I
I have the
think
same feeling too, but it's already out of all the reviews, that's the only thing
hmm
that's getting the bad reviews is that throwing mechanic, and that
yeah,
most people prefer to play in handheld just because they
yeah,
don't have to deal with the throwing mechanic.
exactly. I think they're gonna learn from it. I hope they do. But this definitely seemed like them testing the waters in regards to this throwing mechanic. Like I don't mind the whole catching mechanic for legendaries in Pokemon Let's Go.
Yeah,
And the fact that you need to like battle and like make the legendary Pokemon faint first, and then afterwards you can infinitely try to catch them.
yeah.
So like to some point I can see that being a mechanic for legendaries, maybe, but I don't think they're gonna keep it around. Like the throwing mechanic, I mean.
Yeah, I hope that goes to the wayside because, yeah, I do not agree with that. Other than that, I could definitely see the graphics being changed a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Give it a better environment. Because come on, with games like Breath of the Wild and stuff like that, it's like you guys could do something similar to that. You don't have to put us on a set path. Like Sun and Moon was definitely like different. It wasn't the grid-like structure, you could
Yeah,
say.
yeah,
So I feel
yeah.
like Sun and Moon is the precursor of Gen 8. Like this will be um, Gen 8, a whole different region, and you'll be able to do this. You don't have to like walk in like a grid light. You can be able to do whatever, move how you want to move, and all this extra cool shit. Now,
Mm,
I feel
that's
like
still debatable, dude, in my opinion, because Sun and Moon, you went to island, but there was still a very, very generic path through the 8 gems.
yeah, but you in terms of grid like the towns, cities, even for Pokemon Let's Go, they're still set up in a grid, and where Sun and Moon, you didn't have unless you were in the city. But remember in
Mm-hmm.
the town, his house wasn't set like a grid, like you walk up. No, you had to walk at angles to walk in his house.
Mm-hmm.
It was stuff like that was pretty to me was pretty neat because you had this nice fluid movement.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
What I would like to see, and this is just an opinion, um, in Gen 8, being able to go back to all the other regions.
I definitely don't think Gen 8's gonna do that. Like, it's either or. Either we're getting Gen 8 or we're getting a remake that throws us back into all the other regions.
I think that might be next under chopping block since the Switch is a much more powerful system.
Hmm
The cards are a lot bigger, so you could either have it downloaded or on a card.
hmm
I feel like having let's say the next Pokemon could be a Pokemon World Tour after Gen 8 and you visit all the areas. Or that could be in Gen 8 where you start off in this new region, kicking ass, new story, and then it's like, yo, you are a Pokemon master in this new region. Go to Kanto, Johto, or, you know, all these other places or these other regions, and that would definitely throw people like Pokemon, like these hardcore Pokemon fans would love because now you're literally able to capture all 900 Pokemon in one
hmm
game.
Yeah, I agree. But like, I feel like there has to be a balancing system on the gyms and whatnot.
Yeah.
So if anything, I'd prefer like you can beat the Elite Four normally in
Hmm.
your normal region, and then once you go to the other regions, your Pokemon still receive EXP, but it'll be like similar to how we have Pokemon battles where it's like all standardized,
Yeah.
in which you standardize to like level 50 or et cetera,
Yeah.
stuff like that, so that it becomes more fair and more actually like challenging in the other regions.
Oh yeah. Now I can definitely see it like actually like changing, like difficult to change. So let's say you complete the game and your Pokemon, the highest level of your Pokemon was like say level 50, and then you're able to move from the new region to Kanto
Hmm.
is based off there. And as you level, as your Pokemon start leveling up, so does the gyms.
Hmm.
So they match where you're at, or maybe a little bit more until you complete the game. Because even if you hit a level 100 and then go on to the next, go to like the Kanto region, now you're gonna start off from the back from the beginning and just keep going. Um, you think Brock is gonna be at level 10? No, he gonna
No.
be up there with you at a level 100, doing some damage, and now you gotta change your whole strategy up of how to do this or face him with this.
Hmm.
And it's like, oh, Onyx has he has a carry item which makes him resilient towards water. Awesome! Fuck, I gotta figure something else out.
Hey man, we had those berries. That's what those are for.
Hmm.
But yeah, I can kind of see that like a scaling mechanic.
Yeah,
Although it's just like once you hit that scaling mechanic cap, then that also becomes,
I
you
like.
know.
I feel like once you hit that cap, because if you're gonna do that whole like, oh, we'll just do level 50s or level 20s or whatever, I feel like people just take advantage of that. If you're able to do level 100, and what makes the game different is, okay, you have the certain Pokemon with certain holding items or berries or whatever, that would definitely change up. Especially that you didn't know that you know Onyx had like a water resistant carry on. Let's say it's like, oh crap, I pulled out my water Pokemon for nothing, and he's demolishing me, and he's not taking any damage. I got to change this all up. Move on to another Pokemon that Rock is weak against to beat him that way.
Hmm.
That would definitely change up just this Pokemon, especially that you don't have a Pokemon that could, like, you don't have a grass Pokemon, a grass type to defeat the rock type. So now you're stuck at a level 100 Onyx, and you're level 100, and there's nobody in your party with that attack, with the certain attack to beat them. So now that changes up your whole thing just because they had a held item that threw you off that you didn't know until you had that fight.
Eh, kind of not though. In my opinion, I feel like at that point, like that starting to bend the whole typical Pokemon main storyline rules.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of unfair for the player.
I feel like
But
for the storyline, it's just gonna be the new region, and then after that, it's gonna be like, go ahead. Unless they don't do the regions and just go with like gym battles. You want a Brock? Go face Brock. Misty? Go face Misty. Like it's just like instant battles, like to the gym
mhm,
leaders, and that way you collect all the badges. But
mhm.
still, it'll be kind of nice to visit the areas.
Yes, I agree. But yeah, I can definitely see these two projects being separate though, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Having one extensive game is already good enough for me. Having just eighth gen would make me happy.
Oh yeah, same here. I would definitely enjoy an gen and seeing how all the new Pokemon and their evolves, and another new set of 100 or whatever. Cause where are we at now? Ain't we like at 832 or some shit like that?
We're definitely in the 800s.
Yeah, we'll be close to. Hell, by the time they end Pokemon, they're gonna have about like 1,000 plus.
I don't, we'll have at least 900 for sure, but I don't know.
They might just surprise us all and be like 1,000 Pokemon, yo!
They would need to cover a ground of 191 Pokemon
What
then,
they
in
would
that
need
case.
to do is being able to trade from Gen 8 being able to trade your Pokemon from your DS to the Switch.
They introduced something like that
Yeah, the
last time.
Pokemon Bank.
Yeah,
But I
exactly.
feel like I don't want to spend money on that shit. Just give me the option on how to trade my Pokemon from my Game Boy without using a fucking bank to my Switch, and I'll be a happy camper. Because you know what that means. I'll get my Pokemon from Sun and Moon and start demolishing people left and right until I get the appropriate badges, of course.
Hmm. See, that's the thing. Like, I don't see it happening right away.
Yeah.
Eh, who knows?
But yeah, that's just my predictions. Hoping they don't have that. They might, but I hope not.
Hmm.
And it's just a full on traditional Pokemon. That's gonna be fun. Dude,
Yes,
it'd be
I
bomb
agree.
ass if they for Gen 8 is like, guess who's back? Red.
I'd be down. Red has always been fun to fight and play with, or at least play against.
Yeah.
It was a challenging battle. Who knows? I'm not. I'm not confident in something like that happening,
Yeah.
but I could definitely get behind the idea of something like that.
All right. Well, with that said, we're already at an hour and a minute. I knew we were gonna
Oh
go
wow.
over 45. And every time I try to aim for 45 minutes, it's just I always go over.
Ooh, what a shame. What a shame. You're just a talkative one, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Well, anything else you'd like to chat about? Anything else?
I think that's it for now.
That's it for now. Well, V, it was nice having you on here.
Well, thanks for having me, Tank. I'm gonna just gonna go back to my cardboard house and just chill out with watching some Pokemon or something.
Watch the Pokemon Sun and Moon anime.
No thanks. That's absolute garbage.
Alrighty, V. You have a good one. Catch you later.
All right, catch you later, Tank.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Catch you next time on the next episode of Incompetent Nerds. Peace.